Hi guys. As many of you know who live on mature properties, sometimes you have to remove a large tree. And that is what has happened in this garden. We used to have a very large pine here, and the branches all started falling in the winter, especially when there was ice on it. And it just became a dangerous situation. They were falling during the winter, but we also thought that maybe some of the branches would be cracked. So we had enjoyed the tree, which was already mature when we got here 32 years ago, and it was time to take it out. But what happened is it turned a shade garden into a very sunny garden. So this is a garden in transition, and I'm a little bit scared to take you in closer because I'll show you the results of suddenly transitioning a garden from shade to sun. Now, one thing I did, I happen to have a lot of elephant ear bulbs that my friend Lori gave me, and that is a full sun tropical plant. And I knew even last year before the tree had been taken out that my hostas over here were getting too much sun. But what I did was I figured if I put those tall elephant ears in front, at least for this year, I am masking some of the devastation in the hosta bed. So I'm coming in closer. As you can hear, there's lots of summer sounds. I just love elephant ears. I like to plant them everywhere. But let me show you these poor hostas. Now, these are actually too big for me to dig up. So they're just gonna have to stay here for now. I do have some smaller ones. Let me show you down here that I could possibly move, and those might be reseeded ones. So they're not getting too big, probably because the area is not ideal anymore for hostas. They require more shade. But let me show you what's going on here. Some of the leaves have actually been removed, but if you can see there, a lot of them were yellow. They're a little bit greener now, maybe because we've gotten a lot of rain this week. But the slugs have gotten to it and they've all yellowed out. These are shade plants that are now in the sun. But let me show you what's in here that does like the sun. And as you can see, it's already in the shade a bit in the afternoon because we do have a woodland back here, which helps with providing a little afternoon shade. But it is full sun in the morning. But let me show you. I have to get in very close because it's small. My coral bark Japanese maple. And this was a seedling I got off of eBay. Let me give you an aerial view. I feel like it's invisible on the green background. That will be growing much taller, of course. I think it's 20 or 25 feet when it's mature, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, that's assuming it gets to maturity. Oh, I do have one pretty hydrangea here. The other ones haven't put up as many blooms, but I have that. And that is a type that blooms on old and new wood, so that's why I do have some blooms on it. I think it's an endless summer variety. And let me show you over here. So these have actually lasted a long time. These are my lily of the valley, and they do disappear in the heat. They go strong as a ground cover all spring and into early summer, but now the heat will knock them back and they will completely die back until next spring. But I do have some euonymus in the back that was already planted, and that will do fine in the sun. It's a variegated golden euonymus, and those are really lovely. I have some daylilies here that bloomed, maybe will bloom again later in the summer. And then I have another seedling. This was one that I cultivated and nurtured from a seedling out front, and I'm trying to train it to grow up. And I am not pruning these off. Let me show you down here. Normally I would prune all these branches off so it would look like a tree, but I saw a bonsai artist who would leave the branches on because it makes the trunk thicker faster. So I'm going to leave those on for now, trim them later. so that it has a tree form, of course. And I've chosen one of the branches to be the leader. It was a straighter one, and it was more in the center. So hopefully that'll go well. But as you can see over here, I do have some more sad hostas. They're actually looking better than they were a couple weeks ago. Some leaves have been trimmed off. But I did add in a mini mauvette hydrangea, and I thought maybe this area got a little more shade, but it seems to be doing okay. So that'll be a short, smooth-leafed hydrangea, and I'll leave it there for now unless I see it struggling with too much sun. Across the back, I have 3 green emerald arborvitaes, and they will just make a nice green evergreen backdrop. And then over here, these do just fine. They've been doing fine for many years, and I have a new cutting here of the same thing. They are quick fire hydrangeas, and they're very reliable. They're one of the first blooming hydrangeas. They bloom white, and then they turn this dusty rose color, and they're just beautiful. They're beautiful throughout the whole bloom cycle. I do have a butterfly bush back there, very hard to see, kind of getting smothered out, and that doesn't always have the prettiest branches because they break, but these will be just fine in this spot. And then under here, it's shadier, so I can have a container of heuchera there. But really the only hosta that's looking nice and still a dark green is this one, which is under this large burning bush that we topiary back every spring. And we had so much rain this year, it had to be cut back 3 times, the burning bush. So I'll give you a look at that. But it does provide some shade for that poor hosta. But I think having the arborvitae there will be a good sun plant. And the Japanese maples, which get afternoon shade, will do just fine there. The euonymus will be fine. The pot of autumn joy sedum is going to be fine. I just have to gradually phase out. Maybe I could move some of these eventually when I'm back in action. We'll see. For now, they're going to stay and look a little peaked, but I'll try to camouflage them. And oh, here's a wonderful plant that I think everybody should have in their garden. It's a lantana, and look how pretty those blooms are. It's putting out some more buds right now, but it's got a couple of pretty blooms. They're kind of complicated and intricate, and the pollinators just love them. And then let me show you over here, I did add these actually in the spring. I popped in some lamb's ear over here. And this is a very dry area under this large burning bush, which I promised to show you. So that got trimmed back 3 times this year, guys, because of the amount of rain we've gotten. It grew so fast. So this is a monster bush, which we've tried to limb up into a multi-stemmed tree. So, but this does get sun under here. So I put the lamb's ear here. And I put in the spring, a daylily. And I'm gonna add more because they do okay under a bird feeder that has sunflower seeds in it. So those sunflower hulls have a chemical in them that makes it hard for some plants to grow. But daylilies are one that can grow under a bird feeder. So my birdseed meadow was mowed over and weeded out by the lawn company, which is fine, it's their job. And I was planning on keeping it for a little while, but I think my solution to that is to just move some more daylilies in here, and they're sun-loving plants. And then I have the roses over here, and those are sun-loving plants. Those struggle a lot with Japanese beetles. But guys, this is my garden in transition, and a few things have been planted in there that like sun. And a few things will remain and probably suffer for a while longer, but that's what happens when sometimes you make one big change in a garden and you have to rethink the whole area. But that's okay. I really like how this area is turning out, and I hope you're having fun in your gardens. Thanks for watching.